Today we invoke all that keeps us grounded, all that helps us in uncertainty, all that lets us see in the dark, to be aware, to be awake when everyone else is asleep. Invoke whatever that spirit is that keeps you vigilant and resolved in the face of injustice and uncertainty. We invoke the spirit of being together when we are not. Let's sing. So welcome to the Unitarian Church of Baton Rouge. This is our annual Ingathering Service. In your brain, cut to a shot of a bunch of empty chairs. But you're with us, so we are doing an ingathering, except we're not. So we thought about how do we do this? Do we call it an outgathering? We've done this before. We were supposed to have an ingathering the weekend of the flood, which that 4-year anniversary is very upcoming. And we had to postpone it because people couldn't get here. We can't postpone this one. So we thought, you deserve some fun. You deserve a little bit of, you deserve some depth, but also some enjoyment. So since we've had this guy showing up at the church, for the people who do not have kids or are not getting the postcards, we will orient you to what is going on here. But since this guy's been showing up, we thought we would have, for those who don't like puns, close your ears, but an owl gathering today. So we are going to do the service as if the sun is going down now, and we will end the service with morning when the sun is coming up. Got it? Good. Some notes now that it is, I guess, evening time that you should know. We still have a Roots class. We did the first session on Thursday. You can take part in the next 2 sessions if you want. You can find out more in the weekly news email or right from the website. Also, today at 5, from 5 to 7, right out there, we are going to have a drive-through where we're going to later in the service bless your backpacks and your diaper bags and your briefcases and your lunch bags and whatever. And we're going to have those tags ready. It takes about 5 hours from the cool down from the worship staff blessing we're about to put on them. But we We're going to have those ready to go from 5 to 7. You can drive up to the church. We've got a way, follow the caution tape and the cones for you to get those blessings. And because we want a lot of things for you to do, not only could you take the Roots class, even if you've already taken it, it doesn't matter. Friday night, we're going to do music bingo with Mike Cavell on Zoom. You can find out all of that through the weekly email or through the website. The number, if you would like to play stones, is 504-334-8034. And watch to see if Kathy, who this Sunday is monitoring the feed on YouTube, is magic and has already hit enter on that. Also, Eric Poza is offering the sermon today. He is your new interim minister. Last Sunday was his first Sunday. We're glad he's here. And we have a special request from the president of our congregation, Donna Yelverton.
Good morning. I'm Donna Yelverton.
And we understand that Donna is upside down. We are fighting with our technology. Is she right side up or is she... All right, we're going to see if we can get an up... All right, carry on, Donna.
Good morning. I'm Donna Yelverton, the president of our congregation. I'm here to talk about generosity and how it applies in our lives. We Unitarians are a generous people, and we practice generosity in many ways. Generosity is an attitude, but it is also our actions. Actions such as giving ourselves and others the benefit of the doubt, setting aside our personal preferences for the common good, looking for the best in people and situations, forgiving and seeking forgiveness, and yes, giving freely of the gifts that have been given to us. Research ties all these forms of generosity to feeling a sense of joy and meaning in life. We have been working to deal with an income shortfall that the church, like other businesses and nonprofits at this time, are experiencing. I'm not, however, here to talk about scarcity. Rather, I want to talk about the abundance in our midst, an abundance of love and connection and generosity. Those of us whose income continues during the pandemic have the opportunity to be generous to our congregation and our fellow members. It appears that this year's pledge shortfall is trending to be at least $30,000. But I want to focus on the needs of you, the givers, rather than on the needs of the church to receive. Your church owes it to you to be an effective steward of your contributions, as well as to provide transformational faith principles, mission, vision, and programming. I know that you want to continue to enjoy that programming and to fairly compensate our ministers and staff. I urge you, if you are able, to keep your pledge payments current and to catch up if you are behind. Also, please consider how much more than your pledge you might be able to contribute. If you didn't make a pledge, we really need you now. Please consider making regular contributions if you can. You can send your checks to the church or see the electronic payment options on the website. We know that gratitude is a primary motivator for you to give to this church. The challenge for your ministers, staff, and lay leaders is to create an environment and ministries for which you are grateful. Please show your generosity today and as often as you are able. All of us will be grateful.
One of the many reasons it's so good for me to be back here at the Unitarian Church of Baton Rouge is because it is good to be back in this familiar building. And it's an unusual experience for me starting a new ministry, which is something I do frequently as an interim minister, but usually with churches I've never been to before. So to come into one where I have such a history and am so familiar with it, that's a real treat. And frankly, it's a little surreal. It's also a little strange because it is an empty building. As you might tell from the background, I'm actually in the church's minister's office right now, but I'm the only one in the building, and I'm being careful while I am here. But we've all been away from here for a few months. Yet since we've been away, there actually has been someone else who has been here. And no, I'm not talking about the summer camp or child care facility. I'm talking about Owl. Some of you know that we've had an owl that arrived in our church building since we stopped meeting, and has even been, oddly enough, sending postcards to many of our members showing Owl showing himself around various places in the church and talking about what he experienced, asking questions about it. I really need to look into how our data security got breached to let Owl get the family ministry mailing list, but that's a worry for another day. Fortunately, though, owls are immune from coronavirus. So it's actually been safe for me to get to know Owl and not have to worry about masks the way I certainly would with other human beings. So we had a chance, after worship last Sunday, to look around the building together and to talk a little bit about what we were seeing. The first place we went was the Peace Stones. And I mentioned that they looked a little bit different to me because they'd been moved. They were further away from the street than I remembered, and that new wall had been built around them, plus there was more parking around. Al didn't like that as much. He doesn't like concrete, it turns out. He says it's harder to find food on concrete than it is on grass. But Al did show me another place outside that he'd found before and he really liked. It was a flower pot that's at the end of the covered walkway going up to the building. He talked about how the flowers made him happy. And I told him that I really enjoyed the covered walkway, especially on rainy days, because they helped me stay, well, at least a little bit more dry than I would otherwise. And we all know how many rainy days there are in southern Louisiana. But then we went inside, checked out a couple of rooms, including this meeting room, both of us were surprised by this meeting room. Al was surprised because all the couches looked different and other things were kind of plain. He said it was a really hard place to camouflage. For me, I was surprised because the wall that you see on the right in this photo, that wall wasn't there when I was here before. It was added later. That had been a much bigger room. And they did have a divider up to sort of separate them, but they apparently added a wall later, so that was interesting. But then we went to a room that has not changed one bit. The kitchen looked exactly the same as I remembered it. I was showing Al here and telling him about the stove where I had one time been trying to cook some rice. This was before a young adult group potluck. And I wound up burning the pot of rice. And I think I even ruined the pot. Al was not impressed by that. I totally understand. But then he said it was because he doesn't like rice. He prefers mice. Now, that sounds pretty gross to me, but as a friend of mine says, don't yuck someone else's yum. So I didn't say anything. We were going to the sanctuary, but I stopped on our way there to show him the poster just outside the sanctuary that talked about UCBR being a welcoming congregation to lesbian, gay, and bisexual and transgender people. That was something they got the church got recognized for shortly after I was here, but I was involved in talking with some people about it when I was here before and helped to lead some workshops on the topic. Al was glad that this was a place that does welcome everyone, though he did say he gets a little bit nervous at the thought that maybe a hungry fox would be welcomed in because they've been known to eat owls. I assured him he was going to be safe. And then we went into the sanctuary. It was so good to see the circle window again. And we both loved that window for different reasons. Al loved it because he loved seeing the trees outside the window. Though he did say he keeps wanting to fly in and out of the building through the window, and of course the glass he can't. I talked about how much I loved looking out the window, especially at the end of worship, and that it always felt like a really special moment to me. Well, there's so much more that we benefit from, and so many good things about being here. And also, there's been some things that have been a little strange. And we're going to talk about all of those a little bit later.
So we know that some of the frame of that got cut off. It's because we made an offering to the tech gods, and they accepted most of the offering, but not all. We will get it resolved. Today we have, we're placing a stone. Well, first we're thinking of Julie Rockstuhl. She is in Pittsburgh right now doing a clinical trial to see if it will help with her cancer. And also we have death of a mother and 2 church members who died that we're placing stones. First, Michael Hebert's mom, Gloria Newcomer Hebert, died this week after a long fight with dementia and being in hospice. Also, Sam Elisar died this week. He was in hospice and then got COVID. And another member of this church, Stanley Duplantis, also died of COVID this week. We're placing a stone for Agnes Giroir, who also has COVID. For Haley Elizabeth Jones, Helen asked us to place a stone. So did Penny. We're going to place a stone for all that we miss in this building, in the classrooms, the things that give us comfort. And a stone for youth leaders and activists and everyone who's working to make this world better. Would you say with me? With hope to make this a better world, we light this flame. Its light is a symbol of the power of love.
That dwell below the skies, let songs of hope and faith arise. Let peace, goodwill on earth be sung, through every land, by every tongue.
Evening breeze, spirit song, sings to me when the day is done. Morning breeze sings to me with the heartbeat of the sea. Evening breeze, spirit song, sings to me when the day is done. Morning the heartbeat of the sea. Evening breeze, spirit song, sings to me when the day is done. Morning breeze, when the day is done. The sea.
So if we're going to take this metaphor a little further, what I'm trying to do is transition you from the sad news and the reflective time to something that's a little more upbeat. So, because the world is laugh, cry, laugh, cry. I stole that from Steve, who stole that from Minister Jack Mendelson. But so here's how I'm going to thread this. Stick with me. When it's night, you spend some time reflecting on things that are a little deep and sad. And then you might think of some stuff that's kind of goofy or, I don't know. Well, all right, I'm going to stop threading this. Here's what we're going to do. Trey and Lee have worked really hard, along with the virtual choir, which, by the way, you are welcome to join if you would like to make music for you ever since this whole stupid pandemic has happened. And so we wanted you to see some of the misery behind the scenes and some of the fun behind the scenes. So go ahead and enjoy this blooper reels, etc.
This is Holly, and I'm doing my first effort, at Nobody Knows. Cut off a bunch of this, Trey. Sorry about that.
Hearts unfold like flowers before the airy as That's not going to work either.
Nobody knows. Here we go.
A new day dawns, once more the gift is given. Wonder fills this moon. Wait. Multiple clouds of sin and sadness cannot do it with the book so hot.
Over my head, I feel me.
Hearts unfold like flowers before the dawn of Joyful, we adore thee, God of argument.
For the beauty. I don't like it.
Evening song over my head. I can climb this in the air. fish off. Sorry.
When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe out.
I do the real, the part of him that is a new creation. Oh,
Shoot. Forget this one.
So all throughout the summer, we have been mostly led by Kathy Smith, the director of Finley Ministry here, sending these postcards to families in the church. I don't have all of them here, but I got a lot of them. Anyway, we realized that a lot of the adults in the church have not seen them. So we asked some of the kids to read the postcards of the owl adventures. Here they are in order.
Hi, I am Gabe. I've been getting this strange post from an owl. Do you want me to read it to you? Splendid. When I took off for an adventure, I did not know where I wanted to go. I landed here. I think you've been here before. I wonder what people do here. I heard someone say you. What does that mean to you? I have so many questions. Can't wait for the next part of it. The adventure. Your friend Owl. Hello. I got another owl postcard. Let me read it. Hi. Someone let me into this building. It's really big. Much bigger than my usual nest. I found this, what is it? It looks like it might have once been something else. What is it used for? Is it for talking to each other? The inside of your building is pretty cool. I wonder what else I see here. Your friend, Owl.
Hi again. I learned last week I perched on a bell. Long ago, it was an oxygen cylinder. Someone made it into a bell to tell people time to listen. When I was flying around, I found these rainbows. What colors are on them? Why does one have more colors than the other? I found lots of other rainbows too. Your church likes rainbows. I wonder why. Your friend, Owl.
Hello. I found this odd little nest in front of the big room. It doesn't look at all like mine. It feels important though. I wonder if it is important to the people here. Is it something important to you? The stones are all shiny, as if they have been held by many hands. I feel like I am close to many people here. I wonder why. Your friend, Owl.
Hello. I think I found where the pretty stones go. I like the big shiny one with L-O-V-E scratched into it. What does that mean? I'm not sure about the big round white thing though. I tried pecking at it, but it doesn't taste very good. Kind of waxy. What do people do with it? Why? Does it have to do anything with L-O-V-E? Your friend, Owl. Hi, this week I discovered a book in the big room. It looks like it has words in it just like other books. But what are these funny dots and lines for? Are they clues to something? I don't know why, but it makes me feel like singing. What songs do you sing here? Who do you like to sing with? Your friend, Owl.
Hi. I explored a different room and found this odd-shaped bird bath. At least, I think it's a bird bath. It's pretty small, though, and your church has a lot of them. I wonder why you have so many, and what do you do with them if you're too big to fit in them? So many questions. Your friend, Owl.
Hey, hip hip hooray! I found my way outside today. It's really hot out in the sun, but it's cool on this perch. I heard somebody call it a memorial bench. What does that mean? Why do people need memories? A nice place to sit is comforting and comfortable. How else do you tell people you want them to be there? Your friend Owl.
Hi! Today I got another owl postcard. Let's read it. Hi! These flowers smell really sweet. I like smelling flowers. I might even take a nap here, because this is such a good place to hang out. I think it might be my favorite place so far. What are some of your favorite places at church? I'm curious. What makes a church a church? Is the church the building or the people? Who gets to decide? Your friend Owl.
Hi, look at this pretty circle someone made. I think it's called a mandala. I sat on the wall and looked at the big stones and added extra to the mandala. It feels extra peaceful here. I wonder why. I heard that the big stones are named Fear Less and Love More. Do you know why? And who names stones? There got to be a tale behind this. I'm curious. Your friend Owl.
White Owl Flies Into and Out of the Field by Mary Oliver. Coming down out of the freezing sky with its depths of light, like an angel or a Buddha with wings, it was beautiful and accurate, striking the snow and whatever was there with a force that left the imprint of the tips of its wings 5 feet apart and the grabbing thrust of its feet, and the indentation of what had been running through the white valleys of the snow. And then it rose, gracefully, and flew back to the frozen marshes to lurk there, like a little lighthouse in the blue shadows. So I thought, maybe death isn't darkness after all, but so much light wrapping itself around us, as soft as feathers, that we are instantly weary of looking and shut our eyes, not without amazement, and let ourselves be carried as through the translucence of mica to the river that is without the least dapple or shadow, that is nothing but light, scalding aortal light, in which we are washed and washed out of our bones.
So I've been looking for this is one of my favorite hymns, but you can only use it at nighttime services unless you have some sort of gimmick, and so I'm using it. But here's the issue with it. One, the chorus is jubilate, not jubilate. Everyone tells me that's important, so you need to know that because it's Latin or something. But also, we're trying every gimmick we can to help you feel like you are connected to the church, because this is really hard. So Lee actually dug through all of the old services and found once where we sang this as a congregation. So I'll invite you to sing along with you from October 20th, 2019 to this next hymn, Now in Land and Sea Descending. But let's sing.
Now on land and sea descending, brings the night his peace profound. Let our vesper hymn be blending with the holy calm around. Jubilate, 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 amen. Jubilate. stars arise. Love and faith and love are glorious, shining in the Spirit's skies. Jubilate, 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 amen. Jubilate, 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 amen.
This time that normally would be a time for ingathering for this church, a time of coming back together after some of us have been away for travel, vacation, visiting family, etc. It's hard this year. It's hard not to see one another face to face. Here in church, not to connect physically for a hug or a handshake with someone that we've known, in many cases for years, in some cases for decades. And yet, even for me coming in some ways new, in some ways returning, I'm finding some inspiration in the ways that I am starting to connect and reconnect with so many people here. It's not the same doing it online, granted. That doesn't mean it's useless. There is still a lot of value, a lot of richness that can be conveyed even in a relationship that's moved into the internet realm, the virtual realm, if you will. And finding the ways for us to gather together and to be intentional with each other, present for each other, even when we don't have the building as a gathering place, is all the more vital, but far from impossible. It's hard to be away from the building, sure, but it also gives us a chance to reflect on what's the church and what's the building. And it's easy to say, and we often do, that the church is the people, not the building. And I do believe that's true. I'd even go a step farther. Church buildings, as I've said for years in my various interim ministries, buildings are tools for ministry by the congregation. Usually the biggest tool in a church's toolkit, if you will. And to think about stretching the metaphor, we can't use the biggest tool in our toolkit right now, but that doesn't mean we can't work at our ministry. It doesn't mean that we can't continue to be a loving and justice-seeking and faithful, faith-embracing presence for one another, for Baton Rouge and East Baton Rouge Parish, for all of those who need us. And we know that there are many who need us, and in some ways need us all the more now than ever before. A lot has changed. I am not just now talking about the last 5 months. I'm thinking of the last 18 years. I'm already starting to see some of the ways in which this church is different than it was when I was with you in 2002. I think of some of the ways that I'm different, more experienced, maybe more jaded, some would say. Even understanding my own sexual orientation differently. I had completely convinced myself I was a straight person when I was with you, doing the welcoming congregation work alongside you 18 years ago, and having accepted in the last 4 years or so that I'm bisexual has been a change for me. And I lift that one up only as one example of the ways in which we can learn things about one another that are new. Not only when we've been apart for 18 years, but when we've been physically apart for 5 months. I hope that these times are opportunities for us to find new ways to connect, ways that we can carry forward in whatever time we are able to come back together physically with richer and more multifaceted relationships and interconnections and ways to reach out to the community beyond the walls of the church. So may it be for us all. Amen.
So you already heard a request from your president to give if you were able to give. The ways to give, you can text the word assist to 833-796-0353. That's 833-796-0353. This is a good, strong church, and it needs your support. It needs your help. If you are able to give, please give. You can go to the church. There's a whole button. You can click on it. And I know it sounds like just a pitch for paying for services rendered, but that's not what this is. This is an ask for you to say, we're going to get through this together. This morning's offering will now be given and received. This is the time for you to go, literally right now, go. Get whatever thing you want blessed, your backpack, your briefcase, your lunch bag, diaper bag, gym bag, whatever you put stuff in that you're going to bring for this upcoming year, go get it right now. I'm stalling a little because we're about to have all three of us bless it. So go get it right now. Here's the blessing.
And so, as we come together in our blessing ritual, I'm going to invite you to hold your backpack in your lap, or in your hands, or in your thoughts. And of course, by backpack, I mean your backpack, or your lunchbox, your knitting bag, your gym bag, dance bag, diaper bag or briefcase or cell phone, or maybe your keychain with its keys to transportation and shelter. Because this ritual is not just for those of us who carry backpacks, but for each and every one of us. Every year in August, we give you a little tag emblazoned with some small part of what it is to be a part of this church, a part of Unitarian Universalism, a part of this beautiful interconnected world. For the love of all people, fear less, love more. And this year, you are not alone. For even in the best of times, it is easy to feel alone and often harder to feel connected. May this blessing always remind you that you are not alone.
In these times, many of us do not see people nearly often enough, do not have the physical interactions our human bodies are hardwired to expect. You are not alone. Many of us are too much not alone. Our rooms and houses feel too small for the presence of so much family time. And this too, you are not alone. Many of us are feeling the complicated emotions that come from being out in the world more than we would choose to be if all the choices were our own. And this too, you are not alone. Many of us are wondering what will happen next, moving from hope and fear and back again, simultaneously hoping for change and stability, wanting safety for everyone and opportunity as well. In this too, you are not alone. May this blessing remind you you are not alone.
You and I are a part of something larger than ourselves. Our lives connect with each other in ways we understand and ways we will never understand. When we take precautions to slow the spread of the virus, we take care of people we know and people we will never meet. You are not alone. In the intricate net of all of these connections, there is a love that holds all of us. One of the blessings of being a part of a church community is that we are reminded that we are connected to so many people, that we are surrounded by love. May these tags we give you today remind you of these blessings, the blessings that you bring with you from your faith community. Well, the camera's reversed, but it says, you are not alone. You are not alone. No matter how great the fear, there is a path through it. There is hope and help available for you. You are holy. You are loved just as you are. Love holds you and all that you love. When you receive one of these tags, may it be a reminder that you are a part of something larger than yourself, that you are loved and that you are worthy. May it be so. Amen.
Joy and sing a song
remember 5 to 7, you can get one of these tags. And if you're not able to come or you watch this when it wasn't live, email us. We'll find a way to get it to you. I've turned to this benediction a number of times when things seem uncertain. It's by a Unitarian Universalist minister, the Reverend Wayne Artisan. If you're reading along in your hymnal, it's 698. Take courage, friends. The way is often hard, the path is never clear, and the stakes are very high. Take courage, for deep down there is another truth. You are not alone. Go in peace. Go in love. Amen.